Okay, so I have gotten one of my threads ready to go by tying it on, and we're going to run that through after all four of them have been set. So what you want to do is snip your thread and take the cone off that you're no longer going to use and replace it with the color that you're switching to. Now I like to do just a simple knot. In the same way that I tie off when I'm doing sewing or anything with a small needle and you need to tie off the needle. It says to tie it in as small a knot as possible because you don't want to jam up the machine with a giant knot. I know it looks probably like I'm using the same color here, but I am using a soft pink where I had a white. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm switching my fabrics because I'm doing some homemade cloth diaper wipes, baby wipes. And I'm doing all girl fabrics today. So what I want to do is have my threads matching my material so that it'll look a little bit nicer since the serged ends do show. Okay, now one of the instructions that's given in doing this is you want to set this to the lowest number possible so that those knots will pass through easily. Just remember what setting you had them on before you did that. And you're going to want to turn your machine on. I want to be able to see what's going on through here to know when I get to my needle so that those knots don't go through. Now the lower loopers, it should go through with no problem, but these eye holes in your top needle is so small that I don't want to break the needles by doing that. So here we go. Now you can see that these colors are starting to feed through. The pink is hard to see, so I'm slowing down to check it. I can see that my knots are up here. That's what I was checking for. This machine goes so quickly, and you can turn it by hand once you get a little bit closer. So I can see, here's my knot that I did before. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull this one through so that I'm at the same point. So now I'm just going to snip those two. So that I can run the rest of this thread right through my needle hole. And as you can see, if I try to pull my braid tail through, it won't go through those needle holes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to snip those on the front outside of the needle, and then just move the rest of that tail back through. And I always like to thread my machines with the presser foot down, just so that I've got more room visually. Now with a serger, they generally either include or recommend that you buy a pair of small tweezers for the threading. And it really does help a lot getting it through the needle hole. So I'm just feeding this thread through the right needle. And I was taught to just pull the thread to the back, so that's what I'm doing here. And honestly, my mom taught me a long time ago, a little bit of spit helps a lot if you wet that end down, because the scissors don't just always give it a smooth edge, especially after it's run through the machine a little bit in the threading process. Okay, there's that. And what I'm going to do at this point is I want to put them under this guide. Okay, now that should be all set, so I'm just going to run it through a couple times. And as you can see, you've got a new chain, and the color change is complete. So I'm just going to lower my knife back down again and shut it. So that's how you do your color change with the 4 threads. You can use 2, 3, or 4 threads on the serger depending on what suits your needs. Today I'm using the 4 thread, but that was the way to change the color on all 4 threads.